Good morning, cadets. Today we are going to discuss a very important thing, that is the artificial satellites of our Earth. There are two types, as I suggested earlier: geostationary satellite and polar satellites. So first we will learn about geostationary satellite. Let us understand the meaning of geostationary satellite. Geo means Earth, stationary means appearing to be rest. So a satellite which appears to be at rest with respect to the Earth's surface. The satellite which appears to be stationary from the surface of the Earth, that is called as geostationary satellite. This geostationary satellite has a lot of applications, especially in the field of telecommunication and television broadcasting. The live telecast that we watch, the cricket matches, the football matches, the live television, the live news, whatever we watch on the television, it's all done with the help of such geostationary satellites. So geo means Earth, stationary means appearing to be rest. So how is that possible for a satellite appearing to be rest with respect to Earth's surface? That we need to think. Suppose there is a satellite which is revolving in the equatorial plane of the Earth. It needs to revolve around the equatorial plane of the Earth. You can see here, this is the equatorial plane of the Earth, which is passing through east-west, equatorial plane of the Earth, right? So if the satellite revolves around this equatorial plane of the Earth also rotates around its own axis. So if the time period of revolution of this satellite is same as time period of rotation of Earth around its own axis, then such a satellite is said to be geostationary satellite. And definitely the orbit of this geostationary satellite is circular orbit. So if the circular orbit around which the satellite is revolving in the equatorial plane is such that its time period of revolution around the Earth is equal to time period of rotation of Earth around its own axis. Time period of rotation of Earth around its own axis, then the satellite appears to be stationary from the particular surface of the Earth. From that ground station, once it is observed, that satellite appears to be always at rest. It is assuming as if a huge tower is constructed, and a huge building, you can say a huge tower or a huge building is constructed. On top of it, a satellite is kept. I am just giving you imagination. As a result, as the Earth rotates, the satellite also rotates with respect to the rotation of the Earth. So such a satellite is called geostationary satellite. So condition for geostationary satellite is that if the time period of revolution of satellite in its circular orbit is equal to the time period of rotation of Earth, time period of rotation of Earth around its own axis, that is 24 hours. 24 hours. Then the satellite appears to be stationary. Appears to be stationary means rest from the Earth's surface. Such a satellite is called geostationary satellite. Then what should be the height? Here, if you look at the diagram, you see the radius of this satellite is RE plus H. So total radius is RE plus H. So we make use of the relation between the time period of revolution with the orbital radius. We know that square of time period is equal to 4 pi square upon GME. We have got this relation earlier when we were discussing about satellite motion around the Earth. Square of time period T square is equal to 4 pi square upon GME into RE plus H whole cube. Now time period is known. Time period is 24 hours. So if the time period of revolution of the satellite is exactly equal to time period of revolution rotation of Earth around its own axis, that is exactly 24 hours, then the satellite appears to be at rest from the surface of the Earth. That's what we call as geostationary satellite. So if we substitute the T value 24 hours and then substitute mass of Earth and this constant 4 pi square and G, then if we simplify this, we will be able to calculate what is the exact value of RE plus H. So if you take cube root of this and rearrange the terms, cube root of this and rearrange the terms, then we get RE plus H is equal to GME upon 4 pi square into T square. So this whole thing needs to be taken cube. 4 pi square, if you take cube root of this, needs to be T square whole raised to 1 by 2. GME 4 pi square, yes, this is going to be the equation. Now in this equation you have to substitute time period 24 hours. 24 hours, you convert it into seconds. 24 hours into 60 into 60. Then square of it, then mass of Earth, then the gravitational constant and 4 pi square. If you substitute and take the cube root of this, we get the value 42,200 kilometers. It comes out to be 42,200 kilometers. In terms of meters, it comes out to be 4.22 into 10 raised to 6 meter. So we want to, this is the orbital radius from the center of the Earth, RE plus H. So the distance from the center of the Earth of this satellite is 42,200 kilometers. We want to find out what is its height from the surface of the Earth. Therefore, if you calculate H is equal to, you see, 42,200 kilometer minus radius of Earth. Radius of Earth is 6,400 kilometer. 42,200 minus 6,400. If you subtract this, you see, you will get the result. 12 minus 4 is 8, 0, 0. Carry 1. 12 minus 7 is 5. So it comes out to be 35,800 kilometers. So height of this satellite from the Earth's surface should be 35,800 kilometers. You can round about remember it as 36,000 kilometers. You can just imagine that there is a huge tower of about 36,000 kilometer height. On top of it, you have placed the satellite. So, as the Earth rotates from east to west, west to east, as the Earth rotates from east to west, west to east, in this sense of rotation, west to east, you see, the satellite is also rotating in the same sense with a height of about 36,000 kilometer from the surface of the Earth. So, it appears to be stationary from the surface of the Earth. So, this is how we find out the distance from the surface of the Earth. From the center of the Earth, it is 42,200 kilometers. Okay. Next, to launch such satellites, it requires very powerful launch vehicles, very powerful rockets. We call them as geostationary launch vehicles, GSLV. You must be remembering this. GSLV, geostationary launch vehicles. These models are there in our schools. You might have observed geostationary launch vehicle, or it is also called as geosynchronous launch vehicle, which are very powerful engines, powerful rockets, so that they can carry up to 36,000 kilometer height and throw the satellite into the orbit, so that the satellite revolves around the Earth. Then, what are the applications of geostationary satellites? Okay. Now, regarding applications, very important applications, you see, long distance telecommunications is done with the help of such geostationary satellites. Since it appears to be stationary, directly from the broadcasting station, if the signals are telecasted, these signals will be received from the transponders, receivers of the geostationary satellites. The satellite will be having two devices. One is the receiver, another one is broadcaster. Receiver, and the another one is the one which is transmitter. So one is receiver, another one is transmitter. So it is provided with both receiver as well as transmitter. So directly the signals will be telecasted to the satellite, geostationary satellite. The geostationary satellite receives those signals and amplifies them, and then transmits them back to the wide range of area on the surface of the Earth. That's how it helps for telecommunication, long distance telecommunication system. And television signal broadcasting, this is also very important. As I said, the live matches, cricket matches, the football matches, live television telecast, live telecast of news and all, everything will be done with the help of these geostationary satellites. These signals will be of very high frequency. These high frequency signals can penetrate through the atmosphere of the Earth, and you see the height is about 36,000 kilometers, which is very much greater than the radius of Earth. So it can very well penetrate through all the layers of atmosphere, and it can penetrate through even the ionosphere, and then reach the receiver of this geostationary satellite, and then from there it amplifies those signals and rebroadcast them. The signals will be broadcasted with the help of the geostationary satellite. So live telecast can be enjoyed with the help of such geostationary satellites. So our country has sent INSAT series, Indian National Satellites, INSAT group of satellites. Are sent by our country, India. Indian National Satellites. That is the Indian National Satellites, NSAT. This is the short form of Indian National Satellites. Okay. So this series of INSAT satellites are helping us for television signal receiving and broadcasting and long distance communications. Right? Then the question arises, why should it be having the orbit about the equatorial plane? You see, the orbit is about equatorial plane of Earth. The reason is the Earth rotates around its own axis from west to east. So, in order to have the satellite to be stationary, it should also revolve around the Earth in the same sense, from west to east in the same sense. Therefore, the orbital plane of the geostationary satellite must be same as the equatorial plane of the Earth, so that it can continuously focus upon that particular area. So that will be helpful for receiving the signals from the observatory and broadcasting the signals to the wide range of that particular area. This is how it is quite significant in order to have the communication, long distance communication and television signal broadcasting with the help of this geostationary satellite, which will be revolving in the equatorial plane. So, if there are three satellites which are positioned at about 120 degree with respect to the Earth as a center, if these satellites are 3 in number, which are positioned at 120 degree each, these 3 satellites will be able to cover the entire globe of Earth. It will be able to cover the entire globe of the Earth. That's about geostationary satellites. Okay. Now, next class of satellites are called as polar satellites. These polar satellites are revolving around the polar axis. You see, north-south axis is called as polar axis. The upper surface is north pole and the lower surface is south pole, and the axis about which the Earth rotates around its own axis is called as polar axis. Another class of satellites which are revolving about this polar axis are called as polar satellites. Our country has sent IRS, Indian Remote Sensing Satellites. Nowadays, Indian navigation satellites are also there, which are also revolving around the polar axis. IRS, Indian Remote Sensing Satellites. Okay, now we will discuss about Indian Remote Sensing Satellites. There is second class of satellites, it is called as polar satellites. Now let us discuss about another class of satellites. They are called as polar satellites. The satellites which revolve about the polar axis of the Earth, about the axis of rotation of the Earth, polar axis of the Earth, they are called as polar satellites. And the orbit in which they rotate, the plane of the orbit in which they rotate is called as polar orbit. Usually, these satellites have low altitudes. These are having low altitude orbits. Low altitude heights or low altitude orbits. Means the radius of this orbit is quite less, hardly about 500 km to about 800 km, 500 km to 800 km, as we discussed earlier. And the time period of revolution is, as we worked out earlier, it is about 85 minutes to around about 100 minutes. 85 minutes to around about 100 minutes. So these have got different applications. See, Earth revolves Earth rotates on its own axis in the east-west direction, whereas the polar satellites revolve around north-south polar axis. So, and the time period of revolution is hardly about 85 to 100 minutes. We can just say 1.5 hours. Within 1.5 hours, they will be able to complete one revolution around the Earth. So, within a day, they will be able to rotate or revolve around the Earth several times. More than, you can say, 50 to 20 times they will be able to revolve around the Earth. So, they have got the advantage of continuously monitoring the particular strip of area. Every time when they revolve around the Earth, they will be able to monitor a particular region of the area of the Earth from extending from north to south. So, since the Earth is rotating east to west to east when the Earth is rotating. See, when the satellite completes one orbit, when the satellite completes one revolution around the Earth, that will be focusing one particular strip of the region on the surface of the Earth. This satellite will be provided with special cameras, so that that camera will be continuously taking the photographs and monitoring the particular strip of this Earth. But since the Earth is also rotating about its own axis, when the same satellite comes back in the next revolution, Earth will be moving a bit. Therefore, next time it will be covering one more particular strip of region. So, in this way, it will be covering several strips of region continuously, and thus it will be helpful for continuous monitoring on the surface of the Earth, and thus this has got very important applications, that is meteorological or study of meteorology or meteorological observations. Based on these meteorological observations, weather forecasting is done. Study of geophysics. So continuously, since it is scanning with the help of the cameras, infrared cameras and so on, optical cameras as well as infrared cameras, it will be able to monitor the Earth's surface as well as ocean also. So it will be helpful in weather forecasting and geophysics, environmental studies, and it will also be helpful in searching out for the resources in the ocean as well as on the Earth's surface, in the Earth crust, since it is being used for several times. Since it is having a time period of 85 to about 100 minutes, it is revolving on the Earth several times in a day. It has got advantage of continuously watching the surface of the Earth from north to south. As a result, it will be helpful for so many applications: environmental studies, geophysics, weather forecasting, and meteorological observations. So next we are going to study about the very important and it is also remote sensing. That is also one more very important thing, remote sensing. Remote sensing means watching it from a far away distance where the human beings cannot enter, such areas such as the areas of thick forests in the northeastern states and the areas of Himalaya and the hilly areas of Himalaya and the oceans where one cannot go and see what is happening, and the areas of deserts. All these things can be continuously watched. That is called as remote sensing. So watching it from a long distance is called as remote sensing. Even it is used for military purposes. Now you see, we have GPS, Global Positioning System. GPS is done with the help of such satellites. So for GPS, Global Positioning System, it requires minimum 24 satellites, and there will be network of these satellites. With the help of network of these different satellites, we will be able to position globally. That is called as Global Positioning System, Global Positioning GPS. With the help of mapping is also done. Okay, so thus we have got a number of applications using these polar satellites, and our country has IRS series, Indian Remote Sensing Satellites, Indian Remote Sensing Satellites, and these are being put into the orbit of about 500 km to 800 km from the surface of the earth. So these will be launched with the help of launch vehicles called as PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. You can just remember Polar Satellite, I can write here Polar Satellite Launch Vehicles. Launch vehicles means the rockets. PSLV rockets are specially designed so that that will be taking these polar satellites and keeping them to the orbit, so that continuously it revolves on the earth. So these are the applications. So you must watch in the newspapers or in the internet about weather forecasting, which is very important nowadays. So meteorological department of our country will be Met department, we call it. Continuously it will be giving us the warnings, yellow alert, red alert regarding rainfall, and you see cyclone alert will be given, alert of this tsunami. This is all done with the help of these satellites. Okay, they have got very important applications. Okay, next we are going to study the last one, weightlessness. Now we have reached to the last concept, that is weightlessness. What is weightlessness? We have discussed earlier also. Now consider, we are weighing a particular object with the help of a spring balance. One particular load is there. Let it be a bag, small bag full of some sugar, or a small bag full of some solid item like jaggery, and that bag is tied to the hook of the spring balance. The spring balance, you see, here is the spring balance and here is the hook. To this hook a load is attached. Then this load will be capable of pulling the spring, right? As a result, it will show certain weight, provided there is a support here. Suppose it is connected to a rigid support. When it is kept on a rigid support or held like this, then this will be able to show its exact weight. Let it be about 200 gram or 300 gram, whatever it is, 300 gram, let us say. So it will show 300 gram. This is possible only when the load is pulling the spring. You see, due to the spring action, the pointer of this spring, the pointer of the spring will be able to show you the weight of that load. Now suppose if this support is taken out, if I just release the spring along with the load, if I just release the spring, I mean the spring balance, this is spring balance, right? Spring balance. So if this spring balance is not held fixed, suppose it is released suddenly, then what happens? This load will not be able to exert force on the spring at all. When it is able to exert the force vertically downward due to its weight, the spring also exerts an opposite force, almost exact opposite force in the upward direction. This is what we call as normal reaction force. Normal reaction force. As a result, it will be able to show you the weight of the load. When you just release it, then the load will not be able to exert any force on the spring, because the spring balance is under free fall, the load is also under free fall, the entire system is under free fall. When the entire system is under free fall, then it is under acceleration due to gravity. Only force that is acting now is the gravitational force. There is no other supporting force. I am standing on the surface of the ground. I am feeling heavy. I am feeling certain weight, because the ground is providing me the reaction force in the upward direction. Suddenly the ground collapses. When the ground collapses, if I am in the state of free fall, I will not be exerting any force on any material. I will not be, unless I am being supported upwards or being pushed upwards. There is no opposing force at all. So I will not be feeling any weight. So this is what we studied earlier also. Whenever an object is under free fall, when the object is under free fall due to the gravity, then the object doesn't exert force on anything else. Then such a state is called as weightlessness. It is called as weightlessness. Suddenly the pointer in this spring shows zero deflection. The pointer comes to the zero and the entire spring is falling, spring balance is falling, load is falling freely, all are falling down under the acceleration, under the force of gravity with the acceleration due to gravity. So any object which is under free fall is said to be in weightlessness situation. An object under free fall, that is with the acceleration due to gravity. Free fall in the space, when it is falling freely, then it doesn't exert force, or it doesn't exert weight, force or weight on anything. This is said to be weightlessness. The body is said to be weightlessness. So there is no reaction force. When there is no reaction force, definitely it is said to be in weightlessness condition. Now same thing happens for the astronauts who are there in the spaceship. Those who are there in the space probe or space shuttle, those astronauts are under the state of free fall. What happens there, if this is Earth and if this is the orbit of the space probe, right? Orbit of the space probe, just I will show you symbolically. Those astronauts inside are under free fall, because this satellite is under the acceleration due to gravity. At this particular value, whatever the acceleration is there, so this is under free fall. Although it is revolving around the surface of the Earth, it is revolving around the surface of the Earth, it is revolving around the Earth, but it is under centripetal force acting towards the center. So there is a centripetal acceleration acting towards the center, but it cannot fall on the surface of the Earth. I have explained you earlier. The tendency of this satellite is to fall on the surface of the Earth. Since it is at that particular height with certain orbital velocity, it will never touch the surface of the Earth. So it keeps on revolving the surface of the Earth. So all those astronauts who are there in this satellite, they are also in the same state. So they will not be able to exert force on any object in their vicinity. Just like I am standing here like this, they will not be able to stand. They will be in the state of floating. They do not understand which is vertical direction, which is horizontal direction. They will not be able to identify the direction at all, vertical or horizontal. Everything is same. So they will be in the state of floating. So they are also under the weightlessness situation. They are also having weightlessness condition because they do not exert force on any object. The reason is they are also under free fall. The free fall here is not due to acceleration due to gravity, that is 9.8 meter per second square. 9.8 meter per second square is only near the surface of the earth. When this is at this particular height, at about 1000 kilometer, let us say about 1000 kilometer, then at this height we know what is the value of, we can calculate what is the value of acceleration due to gravity. So all the objects inside the satellite, including the satellite, they are all pulled towards the center of the earth with that acceleration due to gravity gh. Therefore, all the astronauts and even the satellite is under free fall. Therefore, these astronauts do not exert any force. They are also in the state of weightlessness. So I think you got the point. Any object which is under free fall, which doesn't exert force on any object, then that object is said to be weightlessness. That object is said to be weightless. And this condition of an object under free fall, that is falling down towards the center of the earth with acceleration due to gravity, is said to be in weightlessness condition. Thank you. Have a nice day. If you have doubts, please ask me. We will discuss some numerical problems in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.